What's going on YouTube? This is your boy Pat. In today's video, I'm going to be taking you through my on-page SEO checklist for 2020 and beyond. I use these same techniques in order to rank in just a matter of seconds on my own website, right? So I'm going to be taking you through step by step on my own website, how I was able to implement these simple on-page techniques that is going to get you first page rankings, right? You want to make sure that your on-page is on point before you start your off-page SEO, right? So make sure you watch to the end of this video to get all the tips and tricks that I have for your on-page SEO needs. And let's get right into it. All right, guys, now we are on my laptop. And like I said, I'm going to be taking you the steps that I do when I'm doing my on-page optimization in order to get instant rankings for easy keywords. So the keyword that I'm targeting here is local SEO for bail bond. And you can see that we're ranking number 3rd here. I indexed this page 1 day ago. So I actually got this, I got the article on my website 1 day ago and I sent it for indexing on Google Search Console, right? And we're already ranking number 3rd for this keyword. And like I said, this was an easy keyword to target. My domain has very little strength. I've never done any real actual link building besides a press release. So you can see how important your on-page SEO can really be, right after your technical. So you want to make sure you have your technical and then your on-page SEO before you start link building, right? It's not going to do you any good if your on-page isn't on point. So I do have a spreadsheet that I created here. And you can see some of the things that I have. So let's go ahead and just go one by one through this checklist. So the first thing we have is the URL structure. So let me show you. So this is the actual post here on my WordPress website. And the URL structure is just the URL that you'll see at the top here. So if I open this up, this would be the URL structure, right? You can see they have their keywords in it as well. And this is basically the approach that you want to take. So what I did is for the URL, if I go over to Yoast and preview, you can see that my URL or the slug is my domain bluedragondigital.com/blog/local SEO bail bond. And you can see here where you can actually edit this very easy if you're using something like Yoast or Rank Math. And you can see that I have the exact keyword in this actual slug. And it's actual, I wanted to make it as short as possible, right? So you usually want to make sure that your URL or your slug is as short as possible, simply because Google prefers shorter URLs, right? So you want to make sure it's as optimized and as short as possible. So I just went ahead and only included pretty much the keyword, right? Local SEO bail bond. Next thing we have is the header 1, 2, and 3. So the header 1 is the most important, of course, and you want to make sure that your keyword is in the header 1. So you can see my focus key phrase over here, local SEO for bail bond. So what I put in the H1 is local SEO guide for bail bond, right? So we have a partial match here, and it is the H1. If I just hover over it, you can see you can change it header 2, 3, and so on. But you do want to make sure that your heading 1 is the most important, right after the title, right? And that's basically all there is to your header 1. Normally you want to make sure you have related keywords. So you can see this is a header 3 here, and I'll probably make this a H2 here. And you can see again we have the keyword in our header 2, and this is basically what you would want to do, right? But again, your H1 is the most important, so do make sure that your keyword is in that H1 tag. And then the next thing we have is the title tag, or as Yoast calls it, SEO title. And again, you want to make sure that your focus keyword is in this SEO title, and simply because this is what actually shows up on a SERP, on a search result. So you can see this is what the title is. So you can see we have best local SEO guide for bail bond companies, bail bond SEO. So basically you want to make sure you're doing 2 things. 1, you want to make it enticing for a user to actually click on this, and then 2, you also want to optimize it for Google, because the title tag is a direct ranking factor. So you do want to make sure that your keyword is somewhere in this title and that you're staying under the limit, which if you're using something like Yoast, it'll tell you the red light will pop up, meaning that it's actually too long and you need to actually make it shorter. Next thing we have the meta description. So the meta description is another on-page factor. Now this is not a direct ranking factor, but it is very important for your click-through rate, which click-through rate is very important in terms of your ranking. So you do want to make sure that it's also optimized for the users. You want to make them want to click on your website rather than a competitor's, right? So it's also very important to make it enticing for the user, but you also want to pay attention. Google highlights, or they bold these keywords. You can see local SEO, bell bonds SEO, bell bonds SEO. So I saw that Google was bolding these keywords, pretty much repeating them. So I went ahead and included them, and you can see they actually highlight. I put the exact key phrasing here, and they actually highlighted it. So you can see that this is a positive signal, although it's not a direct ranking signal. It would be a good idea if Google is bolding these keywords to also include them in your meta description. The next thing we have on the list is the image alt tag and the file name. So this is another on-page optimization that you can do to your images, and let me show you why this is important, because I actually have images that are ranking in the top 5. So I have this image, which is number 2 position, and then I have this image that's number 5, and both of these images are on my actual blog post. So let me show you what I actually did. If I go to settings, and then let's go document, and then featured image, and basically all I did was I optimized the alt tag. So you can see I have bell bond SEO in the alt text, and then I also named it bell bonds SEO, and then this one has the exact key phrase, which is probably why it's ranking higher. You can see local SEO for bell bonds, and I didn't even change the file name here. So you can see how important just having the alt text is when it comes to Google images. And of course, our featured image is also optimized. We have bell bonds local SEO company, and then I also named it with the file name, right? So you can see how important this alt text is if you want to make sure that you're ranking 1 for your article, but also in Google Images, right? This can also improve the traffic coming to your website, and also increase the click-through rate. So another tip that you can do there is by simply optimizing your images with the alt tag and the file name, right? And then the next thing we have is interlinks and outerlinks. I'll go ahead and cover both since they're pretty much related. So an interlink just means that you're interlinking to another page on your website, right? On the same website. External link or outer link means that you're linking out to another article that may be relevant to that topic, right? So for interlinking, a good example is here. I have a bell bonds SEO service page. So I'm interlinking to this page, right? Passing that relevancy, because this page is all about bell bond SEO services. So I interlink to that page up here. And then let me show you, I also externally linked to this post. Let me go ahead and open this up. As we were talking about how Google banned bell bond companies from being able to do PPC or ads. So you can see this article that's from an authoritative website, WordStream, is also going to pass that authority and relevance to my article, right? And it's not in direct competition with my article, right? But it's relevant enough to be able to external link to it, right? And that's basically what it is. You can see I also externally linked to Google My Business, another authoritative website, another external link to Moz.com. They did a very good article on On-Page SEO, which is why I externally linked to it. And that's basically what interlinking and outer linking can do for you, basically to increase the relevancy and authority of that article. So LSI keywords are just pretty much related or synonyms to your focus keyword. So you can see that my main keyword was local SEO for bell bonds. So a keyword that I found that would be, related was if I do bell bond marketing. So of course marketing is related to SEO, right? Google's smart enough to know that these are related keywords. So a LSI keyword was bell bond marketing, right? And another one that I found was bell bond advertisement. And you can see that right here. This was another related keyword, right? Advertisement, marketing, SEO. Google knows that all these keywords are related. So the more LSI keywords, the better Google's going to understand what your topic is about. Also, it's going to help you avoid keyword stuffing, right? You only want to make sure that you're putting your focus keyword 2 to 3% within the content of your actual article. The next thing we have, or actually let's cover keyword density before schema. Keyword density, like I mentioned, you usually want to have it 2 to 3%. So if I copy this and let's go ahead and paste this, you can see I have it in the actual content one, twice, and 3 times. So again, keep it to a 2 to 3% minimum. You don't want to overdo it because there is such a thing as over optimizing. So that just means putting your exact key phrase within the article. Around 2 to 3% is a good sweet spot. And then keyword in the first paragraph. This is just a little tip that you can do. Make sure you're putting your focus keyword in the first paragraph, in the first couple of sentences, to further improve that on-page SEO, right? We're instantly giving Google what they're looking for, right? In the title, in the H1, and in the first paragraph, right? This is going to send strong signals to Google on what we want them to rank us for. Last thing we have is article schema. Article schema is very helpful to do. Basically, it's reinsuring to Google the topic of our article. And you can see down here I have it by this free plugin that I love, WP SEO Schema. I'll put a video above on how you can download that if you're using WordPress. But basically we have the article schema here. We just put our headline, page URL, author name, featured image, and then some more information. You can put the description and the actual the body of the article. And basically what this does is it's just going to insert a piece of HTML code. And let me go back over here and I'll actually show you guys what this looks like on the back end. So what we can do is we can just view page source, and then let's look for schema. You can see right here, local SEO bell bond. So this right here is the schema that we inserted on this page, which is again giving strong signals to Google on what our article is about and what we want them to rank us for, right? So schema is very important, guys, especially in 2020 and moving forward, that you guys can utilize. And there are different types of schema. As you can see here, this plugin gives you a bunch of different types of schema and it's free. So go ahead and get that for your website, guys. All right, so that pretty much covers all the on-page SEO checklist that I have for you guys. Very important, and what I primarily use to get number third in just a matter of minutes, guys. Literally all I did was I wrote the blog post and then I just send it over to Google Search Console and I got it indexed. And if you guys want to speed up your indexing, just go over to Google Search Console, put in the URL, and then just request indexing, and this is going to speed up the process, guys. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's all that I have for you guys today. If you learned something of value, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.